Hi, my name's Adrian, and I'm here creating some exercises for the students in my upcoming workshop on cleaning audio with Audacity. I have some samples that I produced with my friend who came and very nicely recorded them for me. But you might notice as I'm talking, there's, some background noise in here, there's traffic, there's some people walking around. So for these files, I need to do a little bit cleanup work before I give them to people. I have one example here I thought would make a nice sample to show people what we'll be doing in this workshop and the kinds of techniques we'll be using. So let me just play this for you.
They have none of them much to recommend them, replied he.
Okay, now there's a little bit of a siren sound you can hear just before she starts talking, right in this kind of region. So let me just play that for you again.
They have none of them much to recommend them, replied he.
Did you hear that? Let me just play that one more time, just this area.
They have...
Okay, I hope you heard the siren. Of course, you can back it up and play it as many times as you want. So to deal with this, first we need to identify what frequency that siren is. So to do that, in this case, the easiest thing to do is to go into spectrogram mode. And of course, I'll explain what this is and how it works in the workshop. So let me just zoom this out a little bit. So right here is where the siren noise really appears. And you'll note that there's this rising line. And that is actually the frequency of the siren. You hear how the siren starts to rise and this line goes up. So let's play that again.
They have none of...
Did you hear that? I hope you could catch how as the sound of the siren goes up, so does this line. So what we need to do is remove this line. Now we could just clip it out, but that's not going to sound very good because she starts talking while the siren is going. Once she starts talking, she really masks the sound of the siren, so we don't need to worry about that too much. So to do that, first I need to identify exactly what frequency this part near where she talks is. Let me just zoom in. It's a little bit too much. Okay. So here, this is between 1 kilohertz and 1.5 kilohertz. So this is about 1200 kilohertz. So I need to create a notch filter at 1200 kilohertz. And I'm going to apply that to the whole area that has that first little bit of her speech. So let's go back into waveform mode. And I'm going to select this section. And I'll just select all this to be sure that I get rid of that. Now I'm going to go to Effect and Notch Filter. And we knew that that was at about 1200 hertz. So I'll enter 1200. And we want quite a narrow band there because that siren was a very, very specific frequency, which is nice. That makes it easy to remove, even though it is quite close to the range of human speech. So I'm going to give this a Q factor of 3, which means it's going to have a very, very narrow notch filter. It's going to remove just a tiny little band of frequencies. And now I'm going to press OK. You'll note this whole region shrunk a little bit, but that's okay. It should sound nice. So let's play this again.
They have none of them much to recommend them.
Now that's good. You could still hear some of the siren, but only before she started talking. Once you got to the area where she's about to talk, you really can't hear very much. So now let's pull out the rest of that so that we don't need to worry about it very much. And you can see here where our notch filter had its effect. This is all very, very clear. And that line really is not a curve anymore. It's only in this little region. So the thing we can do is we can now delete that region. And ta-da, it's gone. Now we might need to do a little bit more here. Let's pop back to waveform mode.
They have...
Now, you heard that little click there. That quite often happens. Let's listen to that again.
They have no...
So where we removed that little section that had that frequency we didn't want, we've created this little click. And the easiest way to get rid of this is to just do a very simple thing called a repair. And that's going to be right here. And I just click repair, and now it's nice and flat. That often happens when you clip something because there's certain frequencies or the position of the waveform might be high at one place and you've now joined it with the place where it's low. And of course I'll talk about how you can make that not happen in the workshop as well. So let's listen to this now.
They have none of them much to recommend them, replied he.
Now, there's a little bit of chair noise in there at the end that I would also like to clean up, but I think I've given you a good sample of what we'll be doing in this workshop and a little bit about how using spectrogram mode works. Anyway, I hope to see you there. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Thank you.